Achtung, Millwall.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Achtung Millwall Sheffield United edition part 2. Joining me in the aftermath of that wonderful win this afternoon, 3-2 win over Sheffield United, is my regular co-pilot on these editions, Mr. Neil Fissler. How are you, Neil?
Buzzing, mate. Absolutely buzzing. What a Millwall performance that was. If we wanted to make a statement that we are for real this season, we've made job done in front of a national audience. We're flying under the radar, mate. What an absolute top draw Millwall performance that was.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, I tweeted at the end of the game. I wondered afterwards whether I was being over dramatic. I don't think I am, Neil. I said it was the one of the best performances under Gary Rowhead's management. Because I can't think of many better performances off the top of my head. I haven't done any research into that, listeners. So that's just how it strikes me in the moment. But the opponents we had have really taken us to the cleaners twice, one way and the other this season. They were a good side, Sheffield United, and second best team in the division. And we were pegged back twice, having got ourselves deservedly in front twice over, Neil. And to show the kind of mental strength to again press forwards, which is possibly something we've been criticised from. Our own fans have criticised the team for not being attack minded enough. But you can't say that today. That was a top draw performance. We pressed forwards and got the winner late with a player that's been taking a lot of criticism, Andreas Vogelshammer, supplying the cross. In fact, he got two assists, didn't he, for the hat-trick hero Tom Bradshaw today?
Mate, all hail King Gary. Let's all say it. All hail King Gary. Well, mate, one thing you've got to say about Vogelshammer today, he was dangerous. He's been written off as being shit, and no good. The big fucking useless German, I think, after the Coventry game. But then again, that would apply to almost anybody out on the pitch on Tuesday, Wednesday night, couldn't it? But today, his delivery into the box was absolutely sublime. There was I know we got 2 assists, but there was also a couple of others.
Yeah, his crossing, the quality was excellent. The flight was excellent.
Yeah, a free kick into the 6-yard box or was it a cross up at the away end? And nobody could get on the end of it, which was a bit unfortunate, but it was hell of a ball. He's a very, very technically gifted player. I think he's probably a confidence player. And okay, he hasn't played well, but for Christ's sake, as we said on our Friday Something for the Weekend show, we bought him as a striker and been playing him as a winger.
Yeah.
That's sinking. We bought him as a striker and we're playing him as a winger. Technically, he's probably actually our second most gifted player after the Dutch master. You think masters, you think of Rembrandt, you think of Vinnie van Gogh, and we've got...
He was a good player. He was a good player, wasn't he?
We've got Zion Fleming, honestly. Mate, no, you cannot... The only slight criticism today could have been the goalkeeping, especially for the first goal.
The equaliser.
But the free kick, Doyle, which I think he should have got a hand to. McNamara, probably wasn't at his best. But you actually look at that performance, especially in the first half. Shackleton, another player written off as being shit.
He was a standout, Shacks, today. Yeah.
Yeah. And with George Saville, they bossed that midfield. They absolutely ran that show, and we didn't give them a kick in that first half until the
equal, which was like a self-inflicted error. That's the way it goes. Yeah. I mean, just going back to Danny Mack for a moment. Disagree with to an extent. I thought he played very well this afternoon. I think sometimes with Danny Mack, he's he's keen to get forwards, and maybe that can leave some space behind him. But the spirit and some of the defending, Neil, today from Dan, particularly Danny, but others too. And Cresswell, we've not even touched on yet. I thought he did very well today. But what I really like about Danny is he's adding the kind of what I call the Dennis Wise darkness of the game to it. The couple of times he went down, just took the sting out of situations when Sheffield were pressing forwards. Dark arts. And it's replacing a youthful kind of, I don't know about naivety, but he's a Millwall fan, so we all know what that means. He wants to do well for the club. But he's starting to acquire that depth of game that the very best players have. And, to take the sting out of an attack from a decent side, just by taking a little nudge and going down correctly, so the referee has obliged to give the free kick, that's high talent. And I thought he did very well today. I've mentioned Cresswell. I thought he was an absolute rock in defence today, Neil. I thought, for another player who's wouldn't be in the team but for the injury to Sean Hutchinson. But again, another player that's been taking a bit of criticism on occasions over the course of the term. I thought he did very, very well today. I mean, you can go through the whole side. Even Jules Long, talk about the free kick, but some of the goalkeeping in the second half. I mean, he saved goals and kept us in the game.
There was a double save in the second half. Early in the second half, I think. I think he blocked one and then he got out to one, didn't he? Or
he did.
Save one and he blocked the follow-up, which was absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
It was superb. I think there was another block. He kept us in it quite early on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kept us ahead. But how good was Saville, though? He honestly looked like a player that we sold for 7 million quid, 8 million quid.
Yeah. That kind of value. I agree. I think that
I was happy to see back was Oliver Burke, but I thought he had a great game. He really caused them
really fast and quick and physical. Yeah. He panicked their defence today.
Yeah, plenty of direct running.
Yeah.
Looked dangerous when he got the ball. And something which I think, we can go back to Vogelsam, it's just come into my mind actually, was actually the amount of tracking back that he does.
Yes.
There were 2 or 3 times when he popped up in that little area between defence and midfield, trying to win the ball back.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. He's doing the hard yards. It's all very well to be the flair attacking player, but you've got to do the work coming backwards.
Yeah,
and I noticed that. And I thought that's right.
Yeah, he does work hard because the guy that on that side, I think, was Bogle, wasn't it? And he ripped us a new one in the FA Cup side, didn't he? But you have a look. You have a look, and at 25 past 12, and the usual pronoun gang, right? The MFC, Millwall, in the name gang.
They them. I don't know those pronoun gangs, but I know what you mean. The people that call themselves Millwall by name, or MFC or whatever.
Yeah, and Bradshaw's shit, and
Billy Mitchell being injured, Neil. I mean, that was a blow. I mean, I must admit, I got to the ground. I wasn't aware of the injury until I sat down in the seat and looked at the phone. To see that the news was that Billy is out for 6 weeks. I thought that's a body blow to a team that's already carrying, Callum Stiles, Sean Hutch, Mason Bennett, now Billy. Those 4 players alone would be first choice picks. So, I didn't expect the quality and level of spirit that we saw from the side, because I thought we're going to be weakened and we'll do well to get anything out of this game today against a decent side.
Yeah, you mentioned how much of a blow it was, but it gives a chance for like a Jamie Shackleton now to come in
very well,
and to maybe get a run of games.
Yeah.
Something he hasn't had. Yeah, but he hasn't had consistent run of games, has he? And
no.
He should now actually get that, and I think it will do him good, and it will give him a chance to secure a permanent move. I think there's a good player in there.
I agree. He played very well today, Shackleton. Very well. And as did Cresswell. And I think both responded well to the big time atmosphere in the Den. It was a very, very intense Millwall atmosphere in that ground today. All the listeners to the show will know what I mean by that. It was the real deal today. And I think players like Shackleton and Cresswell respond to that. That's what they're in the game for. And I think both stood out today. We've mentioned Vogelsson, we've mentioned Burke. Got to mention Tom Bradshaw up front, Neil. A hat-trick. Again, that's his second hat-trick of the season, I believe.
Yeah, it is. And I think, I tried to look this up, and if somebody can prove me wrong, but I think he's the first player to score 2 hat-tricks in a season since Darius Henderson.
Yeah.
And I think we're going back to 2011, 2012. Now, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, happy to be corrected, but I think you're right. I can't think of any others off the top of my head, and I haven't checked it either.
I tried to look. Morrison didn't score 2 in the season. Gregory didn't score 2 in the season after that, or 2 hat-tricks in the season after that, as far as I could see. But I think the Millwall MFC pronoun gang, they would have needed pro for that performance.
We've got in for them.
That'll be a from the nurse tonight. But it was something we said in our Friday show. If you lump the ball onto him against 6'3",
just going to make this point. Just going to make the same point. Yeah, no, go on. Yeah, you're right.
Because he isn't a target man.
No.
But you do what we did today. The first goal was a lovely, lovely ball forward into his feet.
Yeah.
And then he ran into the box and smashed it in at the near post. Yeah.
Beautiful finish. Beautiful finish. That first goal.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but then the other 2, we put the ball into the 6-yard box or thereabouts, didn't we, for the header, which was one finish that was.
Yeah.
And then he was in the right place. He showed his instincts to be in the right place at the right time for his hat-trick goal. Okay, but, we won't... we can gloss over with a sitter that he missed very early.
He will miss chances, and the reason that he's at Millwall, as we've said with many other players, and I'd probably include Zien on this list, and there's others. It's not fair to list them all, but if they could achieve the consistency that they find on occasion, they would be playing at other better clubs. I think Zien would be playing at a much higher level if he was consistent and had certain other elements to his game that would take him up a level. But as it is, we're very, very lucky to have players like Tom Bradshaw, who's a great finisher. And I think that's what he was signed for. We said this the other day, didn't we? Give him the right service. Some of the balls over the top today, Neil, rather than using him as a battering ram target man, the Paul Moody style, there were balls to him, but over the top for him to run onto. And that's the kind of ball you need to play for Tom Bradshaw. He'll run all day for those. And I thought he did very well.
Exactly. It is no good doing what we did at Coventry, and that's to lump it up long with 2 6'3" centre halves, because he isn't going to win anything. He will run and he will run and he will chase and he'll harry and he'll work his nuts off.
Yeah,
absolutely. But he isn't a target man. So sometimes I think that we need to, as much as we're hailing King Harry, I think sometimes we need to, be a bit more smarter with our tactics to him. And today we got them spot on against a team that, they've lost twice in a week, but fantastic because one of those is to us.
Yeah.
But they were not anything special. I saw something on Hoff earlier on, Brian Dean and Kevin Gage, whose phone number, if anybody wants, WhatsApp me and I will give it to you because I have got it. Well, I've interviewed them. But they're going into meltdown. They couldn't believe the self-entitledness that they'd come down to little old Millwall
and push it.
And they'd been turned.
I was just reading. There's a good link, actually. I was just looking at the London News Online, the South London Press of old. I'm just looking at some of the comments, post-match comments of Paul Heckinbotham, boss of Sheffield United, and there's all sorts of strange stories. I mean, they're claiming that Tom Bradshaw wanted to come off before he got his hat trick. Well, I don't know what the point of the story is, but the Sheffield United management are saying he wanted to come off. Rowett is denying that. He said he was talking to Adam Barrett about aspects of the game that was ongoing, but he wasn't coming off. I think we rattled them. I think when you look at some of these comments on the London News, and there is a sense that they thought they were entitled to come down and get 3 points, and they didn't get it. They got completely the opposite game to what I think they were expecting, and that was the classic Millwall recipe. There was show no respect to the opponent, get the ball at it, get in their faces early. Tom Bradshaw did well to rattle the goalkeeper early and get after them, and the crowd will respond, and that's what we had today. I don't think they were expecting that, were they?
Yeah, but I'm sure that Paul Higginbottom hasn't mentioned probably one of the worst offside decisions in the history of football in the first half.
I haven't seen any of it since. I've come live, but in the moment I thought I didn't see offside there, but you don't have the benefit of replay.
I think it was Tom Bradshaw, clearly onside. The lino 3 yards behind play.
Yeah.
Decides to put the flag up. Yeah, no, fuck off, back up north, Paul. You're a prick. Honestly. Yeah, but that sounds like sour grapes to me, that he's come down here. He's lost twice in a week. They've got high expectation levels. And they're just looking for any old excuse. And to come down to little old Millwall, they've rolled us over twice this season.
Yeah.
They thought they're going to have a nice, easy day out in London. Nice old soft Millwall down south.
Yeah.
And they ran into a highly motivated team, didn't they? And a highly motivated ground.
Yeah, and they got shown the door. I mean, this story I'm just looking at here. This is with Richard Corley, post-match interview. It's saying basically that Sheffield gave Millwall the game, and I don't agree with it. I think we took the game off of them. I don't think they were expecting any. They barely had a touch in the first half. They looked a bit better in the second half, but then the game was open, and that suited us down to the ground. And for us to be pegged back twice and make enough of a comeback to win it 3-2, I think was magnificent. And I remain convinced it's Gary Rowett's best performance since he joined us in October 2019, I think it was. So yeah, brilliant stuff. I'm just looking through a few WhatsApp, a few Twitter posts here. Alex Lee says, "What a win, Neil. Shackleton, brilliant. Take up the agreement to sign him," is Alex's advice for Shackleton. Long made up for multiple times for that soft free kick. Bradshaw, give him the service and he scores. I think that probably is a good summary of the afternoon, isn't it? Give Tom Bradshaw the right service and he'll get you goals.
Exactly, and that's what we've said. We said it Friday, we've said it now. It isn't rocket science. Football is a fairly simple game. And you put the ball into the opposition box more times than they do, you're quite likely to score more goals than them, aren't you? And we don't grasp it. You have all the experts, they wanted Bradshaw dropped. You've got to bring in SA's got to start.
Probably would have been too big a game for a youngster. I mean, I think SA's got it. I think he's got the X factor. But I mean, you made this point on Friday, Neil, to pitch a youngster like Rahman into the bear pit of the Den today probably would have been a bit too much to ask of the boy. I think it would have been a great experience to be sat on the bench and get a sense of what it's like out there, because that was a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. So I think it was a great learning experience. He probably would have played if he had to today, but probably best that it was players with more experience that were out there today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Something I want to take up on the atmosphere is normally atmospheres down at Millwall aren't that great for 12:30 kickoffs, and also for Sky games.
Yeah,
but this was a big game because we're we're pushing for the top 6 in and around there.
Yeah.
They're pushing for automatic promotion and trying to stay in there.
Yeah.
So it made for a decent. It was a big game.
Big time. It was the big time out there, wasn't it? Yeah, I agree.
Player kind of atmosphere. You needed the big players to step up today, and I think it's happened. Our big players stepped up to the plate and have actually done us wonderfully proud. and hopefully we carry it
Absolutely.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night's next on the agenda. Just one last post on Twitter before we close out. This is from Tony Monday. He says, "What an enjoyable game! It was an enjoyable game, Tony. It was. We're not neutrals, Neil, but it was. I said repeated whatever the outcome of the day when it was still in play. We've seen a magnificent game of football. A real. I don't like this cliche, but it's the only one that springs to mind. But it was a classic English game of Championship football, and you can criticise its technique at times and the fact that there's errors and players misplaced passes, but for drama and for sheer enjoyability, very, very hard to beat. That was what football's all about for me. That was what Millwall was all about today. Tony's also giving some credit to Rowett. We've been praising King Gary for the last few days, Neil, haven't we? He saw that Sheffield's Berger had started to run the game and change formation. Tony's given Shackleton man of the match. I wouldn't fight anyone that wants to give Shackleton man of the match. I think he did very, very well today. As did
Sky. Sky went down the lazy route. They gave it to the guy that scored the hat trick.
Very hard not to. In fairness,
you didn't find a way of giving it to a Sheffield United player as they were talking them up every 5 seconds.
Another huge game Tuesday, though, Neil. Another big team. Burnley, 72 points. Not quite run away yet, but they're certainly pushing, steaming ahead in first position. Going to need an equally strong performance Tuesday night to get anything out of that. So it was magnificent to see it today. We're going to need to do it again Tuesday night, though.
Yeah, we have to be able to back it up. Something on man of the match. I don't think you could argue if they gave it to Bradshaw, Shackleton, or even George Saville. I think we could take your pick out of any of them and maybe Cresswell to an extent. But Tuesday night, we've got to back it up. We have to back this up now. We've got momentum. I think if this time last week, if you'd have said we had 6 points out of 9, we probably wouldn't. We'd have probably bitten your hand off because I think we'd have probably been
absolutely. Yeah.
And we've got 2 more tough games this week. Burnley Tuesday won't be easy. If we can beat them, we serve a real statement of intent. People will start sitting up and taking notice of us. We're going under the radar slightly at the minute. We're going around 6th, 7th, 8th place, aren't we?
Yeah. We're 6th at the moment as we speak.
People will start to really, really talk about us. And then we go up to Stoke next Saturday, and I think they lost today, didn't they? I can't remember.
They're sitting in 19th position. I haven't got the Football League results here. Hang on. I think they did get beat today.
It'll be a very, very tough game up there. It's more akin to rugby. It's a good job it's a Six Nations weekend.
Incidentally, you're a rugby fan. I know you like a bit of rugby league as well as Union Code, but hats off to George Honeyman for that rugby league style tackle that just took it. He got a yellow card for it. He took it for the team. Magnificent rugby league tackle. Great Britain level there, George, if you're listening, mate. I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah, Stoke got beat 1-0 at Blackpool this afternoon, Neil. So,
Did the referee not send one of their players off for that? For what looked like...
I thought he was going to. I thought the referee was out of his depth at times. I think the atmosphere, the we've said it many times, we get the same thing over and over. I just think the atmosphere and the intensity of the den overwhelms some of these referees. I think it overwhelms some of the opponents. It can overwhelm our own players at times, but certainly I think Sheffield United today were overwhelmed by it was a great atmosphere today. So, and I think maybe the referee got a bit washed away with it.
Yeah, his arsehole definitely went. But then again, he wasn't as card happy as he could have been, although the first booking of the game, I think it was for Jamie Shackleton, wasn't it? How in the hell did he book him for a shove in the back?
Well, the thing was, I mean, I don't want to sound boring, and it's been mentioned many other times on many other, platforms and other people's shows and whatnot. But the physical manhandling that Jake Cooper gets every time he goes into the penalty. I watched. There was an incident in the first half today where he had two Sheffield United players literally hanging on to him whilst he was trying to run forwards, and the referee standing there watching it. And that seems to be okay. And then someone will do the most innocuous nudge, and that generates a yellow card afterwards. I can see why managers and players become frustrated with referees, Neil. I mean, you can't condone the abuse that the referees get on a wider level, but I can see how the inconsistency can be so frustrating. And if your livelihood depends on it, I get it.
Yeah, Fleming got pulled down a corner in the first half. Yeah, then the referee gives a free kick in the same passage of play against Cresswell for jumping. You've just, not
allowed. Not allowed.
No, it just seemed absolutely unbelievable. Actually, one thing before we do go, I want to congratulate Chris Walk on winning last night. It was his first fight in about a year since he lost for the British title. He didn't have the best first round against a Nicaraguan, but then he floored him in the second round with a body punch that, it was like a Zion Fleming through ball. It was absolutely perfectly, took all the wind out of him, and it was plain sailing from then on. And I did see that Chris was at the game today. So, Chris, if you're listening, mate, great to see you back in the ring with a win. And he hasn't had the best of times. I think he was working as a labourer at one stage.
No, I met Chris. I think I said on the other show, I went around to meet him, and he was telling me when we did a little interview, it was about a couple of years ago now, he was working on building sites, to keep whilst training. And, this is professional boxing level training, listeners. So no place to hide in it. But he was also doing a bit of work as a labourer. And I thought, wow, that's that would kill me.
It was absolutely superb to see him back. And we hope there's no reaction to the hand injury that kept him out for so long. And he did us proud last night, mate. Well, Friday.
Nicely said. Well said. Well done, Chris. We'll be following your career from here onwards, mate. So nice stuff, Neil. Thanks for joining me on this Saturday night. I'm going to go and have a little lay down, probably a rather large glass of red wine now to try and recover my senses after the excitement today. We're going to play out, listeners, with the various voicemails from the chaps that have sent him. A big thank you. If you want to send me a voicemail, it's always good to get different views and opinions on the show. Give me a direct message on Twitter, and I will exchange mobile phone numbers and WhatsApp them. It's always best done as a voicemail on WhatsApp. But if you want to contribute, it's always welcome. So give us a shout on Twitter, and we'll sort it out from there. Neil, thank you for your time, mate. I appreciate it.
But then people don't have to listen to me if more people contribute.
Oh, me. If we get enough of them, I can cut myself out of the show, couldn't I? Some that would like that.
Some would like I'm sure.
Hello?
Well, good evening. You join me from the rural Essex countryside as I look back at Millwall winning today 3-2. What a chaotic Millwall occasion that was. Going into the game, I sort of joked to my family that, it's a typical Millwall result after Tuesday night would be to go and beat Sheffield United and beat Burnley and get 6 points against two teams that really we have no right to get 6 points off of. And we've done the first part of that by hook or by crook. I thought the way that we started the game was fantastic. I thought we started on the front foot. We pressed. We done really, really well. Bradshaw could have scored in the first couple of minutes before his eventual first goal, which he took fantastically well from the only bit of work Oliver Burke decided to do all day. But yeah, we were good. We deserved to be 1-0 ahead. We deserved to go in 1-0 up. I thought from where I was sitting in the ground. Long decided to do his best Jordan Archer impression. Fully don't think he's good enough for us. I think he needs to be moved on at the end of the season. Yes, he can kick, but he can't keep the ball out of the net, so that's my problem with him. He didn't atone for his error by making a good save in the second half, but he also flapped at one that nearly led to a goal, and then he was also beaten too easily for me for the second. He did also make a great save from a deflected shot that hit Jake Cooper. But I thought Bradshaw was ridiculously clinical for Tom Bradshaw. I thought he led the line really, really well. I thought Fleming was great. I thought Saville on another day would have been man of the match without Bradshaw's hat-trick. But all in all, Mill winning 3-2 at home against the second place team in the league is fantastic. The points that I've picked out were, flies in the ointment of an otherwise great Millwall performance. Let's roll on to Tuesday. No reason we can't do it again other than fatigue and mounting injuries, but we live to fight another day. We stay in the top 6. We've got 2 games in hand over some, 1 over others. It's up to us. It's how much do we want it. But all in all, good performance. See you all Tuesday. Come on, your lines.
Hi Nick, Jim Hackett here after the game. Well, what can you say? Chalk and cheese, isn't it, from the other night against Coventry. I thought today 2 good teams as well. You couldn't say it was us beating a bad side at all. I thought first half we started the game right. Every time we went forward, we looked like we could cause some damage. I think if you look at the incidents in the first half, Bradshaw missed the easiest chance of the lot when it looked easier to score than miss. Then should have had a penalty. Again, referees and linesmen, they're not going for us this season, but they didn't let it affect them too much. And we looked good all the time. I thought our wide players looked nice and pacey and like they were up for it. Across the back, they're very comfortable. Again, Cresswell's slotted in for Hutch without a problem, and all 4 across the back played well throughout the whole game, I thought. Then you go into the midfield where everybody might be worried with Billy not being there. I thought Shackleton was outstanding today, considering he hasn't played that much and he sort of gets drawn in every now and then. I thought he was terrific, and Saville still going at the end. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. So, them as a pair, the 2 wide players. Fleming, whenever he gets the ball, he just shrugs players around. And the only sort of downside, I think, with Fleming is that he seems to have lost the will to shoot. It's obviously something that he'll know about, and the management hopefully will get him back into it, because when he does shoot, he might just cause a problem. But overall, I thought his game in the first half, especially, I thought he looks dangerous. Every time he gets the ball, he's trying things that don't always come off because people don't read them, or it's just not quite good enough. But he's there every time. And then Bradshaw didn't let the miss affect him straight away. Goes and scores an absolutely fantastic goal. Second half, well, before I get to the second half, I suppose we'll talk about the free kick goal that really George Long has got to be, accountable for that. It was just one of those things that, we've been down that road many times at Millwall, with goalkeepers where other teams seem to score from 25, 30 yards. If you look at it, and I did see it on the TV, and the Sheffield United wall in front of our wall, they just duck before Doyle clips the ball. And I think that sort of took his eye, because then he puts the ball over our wall and he doesn't take that step. And obviously, by the time he gets down there, then Chris Bagg wrists he's got seem to help the ball into the net. So that was disappointing. And from that point, I think we could all have that feeling that maybe we were going to struggle. And second half, Sheffield United came out. I think they bossed us for little bits, but every time we seem to go forward, again, we just seem to have something there. And obviously, we got the goals. They got their goal, in terms of McAtee scoring. But I do think we were just unlucky with that. It was a good clearance, a good ball back in, and he took it very well. So their 2 goals, are by the by. But our goals, we absolutely fantastic. And I was really pleased to see Vogie get 2 assists there. When you think one from the left and one from the right, and hopefully it'll pick a little bit of confidence up from that, and keep doing what he was doing. But I thought overall, second half, it would have been easy for him to cave in, but they kept going, and I didn't think there was a poor player there in the second half. I thought everybody give it their all, and to be fair to Long, after the sort of tragedy of the goal he let in, I thought it was magnificent second half. Some of the saves he was pulling off, I already commented somewhere that it looked like maybe he put Bart's gloves on for the second half at half time, because he kept us in the game. And as much as you're going to get slaughtered by some people for letting the goal in, I think you've got to look at the other way. I think, well, he had a fantastic second half, and hopefully he'll get some of the plaudits for that. But overall, we got what we deserved out of the game. I think we were the better side. We were the more clinical. Bradshaw, again, gets his hat-trick, and, everything's sweetness and light. Hopefully, we go into the game on Tuesday against Burnley, and we can keep that sort of form going. I mean, again, I wouldn't have minded if we'd have gone away with a draw today. The effort put in and the quality there, was good. If we do exactly the same against Burnley, and no matter what the result, as long as they're giving what they gave us today, I think everybody can be satisfied. So, roll on Tuesday. Good luck, and come on, Millwall.
Hello, Nick. Bill Slack. What a day. What a fantastic day. Even the Dutch bloke sitting next to me with his girlfriend, who I was jumping all over all day. The Dutch bloke, not the girlfriend, because that wouldn't have been a good look. After the last time, I can't afford for there to be any more misunderstandings. I thought I'd share some pre-match thoughts that I had on the lineup, and then some thoughts during the game, just to categorically prove that I haven't got the first fucking clue what I'm talking about when it comes to football. Braddy, Tom Bradshaw, I thought it'd be the same as last week. 2 minutes in, and this is a direct quote, he's fucking shit, that's why we won't get in the playoffs. And then he goes and scores hat-trick. Then there was Cressy, Walter Cress. I thought he was due a mistake, but I've got to tell you, these last 3 games that he's been in, he has been class. No real sign of a mistake. It all seems to be coming together from him, and I think he's gone from some Millwall players saying, I'll give him a lift home to Leeds. Just let me know when he wants to go. I think we'd all love to sign him now. I don't think we've got the money to do it, but I think we could. Shaquille O'Neal, Shackleton. I genuinely said to me dad before the game, he's an average Championship player. I don't know what he brings to the team. And again, I mean, what a fantastic hour he gave us. He was absolutely all over the place. He was incredible. He showed a side of himself in the middle of that park that I didn't think he had. And then our big German, Vogie. Again, like most weeks, why is he playing out wide? He looks knackered. Seemed to be obsessed with substitutions tonight, but he looked knackered on 70 minutes, and I'm saying to the old man, why has he not gone off? Then he took off Shackleton and he left on the BFG. I think about 85 minutes, I said, is the German still on? Yes, he is. What on earth is he still doing on? And then, of course, 88 minutes, second assist of the game to Tom Bradshaw. Just brilliant. Perhaps the one that I did get right, I haven't been impressed with Long the last 2 games. That was a mistake for the goal. The wall was a mistake. How much goal he left him to aim for was a mistake. I said to me, Dad, it's a long way out, we'll be all right. And my dad said, and we haven't got Archer in goal. And then Long does the best impression of Jordan Archer I've seen since Jordan Archer. He is the new Poppadom wrists. I don't know how he can get a hand on so many balls, but they still go in. It's very strange. But I've got to tell you, that's why we support Millwall, aren't we? I mean, apart from the fact that, most of us don't choose them, we inherit them. That's why we support Millwall. What a day. What a game. Them Sheffield United supporters, when it went 1-1, in their mind, that was it now. They were going to roll over little old Millwall. And then at 2-2, they thought exactly the same thing. And then little old Millwall pop up in the last 2 minutes to score the winner and hang on for dear life. It was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. yeah, great day all round. All the best, Nick. Cheers.
Nick, Matt Richards, just dialing in after that game. Get in. What a result. What a performance as well. I thought it's fully deserved. Would have been absolutely gutted if we'd walked away today with another draw at home. You know, God knows how many draws that would have been at home this season when we should have won. But, you know, we got there. So, brilliant stuff. And, you know, from the off, we played really well. Getting into them from the start, there's that chance, obviously, you know, clean through, you know, Bradshaw, and, you know, when he missed it, I think everyone in the ground thinking, Christ, are we going to get another chance as good as that, you know? And fair play to him, you know. I mean, he kept his head up, and, you know, he scores one. Just a few minutes later, you know, and that was just so pleased for him. It was just a brilliant start to the game. We had a couple of chances after that. You know, Burke was through. I thought Burke was really dangerous at the start. First 20 minutes, we were just in total control. You know, it reminded me a bit of the Watford game at home, where, you know, we were just all over them. Funny enough, that game was on Sky as well, wasn't it? But yeah, we still only scored one goal. Absolutely dominated them in the first half, and then they get that free kick where, you know, Jake, you know, the player was looking for that, and it was a clumsy challenge. Even then, though, you think, well, he's miles out. You know, he's not going to score, or he shouldn't score from there. You can see the way he was shaping. He was going to try and curl it with his right foot and put it in the right, and that's what he did. You know, I think Long, he got a hand to it, but, you know, I think as the cliche goes, I think he'll be disappointed with that. And we got his half time, you know, to go in 1-1. Second half, you know, they came forward a bit more. We kind of sat back slightly. Yeah, I thought we still played well. You know, we're still playing well in midfield. We're biting into tackles, getting a foot in. But you just started to think, well, maybe we need to kind of freshen it up a bit. And then Zian gets it in the middle of the park, passes out to the left, and great ball in. Zian, I think, got fouled anyway. I think I was shouting for a penalty, and I think other people were, and anyway, or he's outside the box, and then suddenly Volgasama gets the ball over, and it's 2-1. You know, great header by Bradshaw. Just drops just in front of the keeper, bounces in front of the keeper, and it's 2-1. Well deserved. And then suddenly, you know, it's kind of, they started to come back into it a bit more. Long makes a couple of good saves, and then they get the equaliser, which everyone was kind of dreading, really. But, you know, we battled back. It would have been gutting to come away with a draw. We just didn't deserve a draw. Then everyone's like baying to kind of get some subs on, some fresh legs, because a lot of the time the players look dead on the pitch, and then suddenly Cresswell he pushes forward and gets the ball out to Volgasama and from the right, and then suddenly it's 3-2, you know, and everyone goes ballistic, and it's just, yeah, brilliant end to the game as well, and we held out as well, which is really important. I mean, I think it's the performance, or the result, I think, of the season so far, bearing in mind that they've outplayed us twice this year. So it was great, and players wise, I thought they all did, you know, really, really well. I thought George Saville was just immense. He was just absolutely everywhere. You know, he was up and down the pitch, sliding into tackles, interceptions, you know, just playing a simple ball. Okay, so he might have given it away a couple of times, but he's going to do that. I mean, how we kept kind of, don't know. Shackleton equally in the middle of the pitch. Both of them did so well, and well supported by the rest of the team. Defence did amazing. Tom Bradshaw, obviously, though, you know, he's going to get headlines, and it's so pleased because, you know, that first chance he missed, you know, his head could have gone down. But it shows you, if you do give him chances, he'll score. I mean, he had 4 chances today, and he put 3 of them away. You know, I mean, it does make you laugh, though. We were walking out on the way, and a bloke stands next to me going, "Oh yeah, but he should have had 4 today." It's like, bloody hell, mate! He just scored a hat trick. You know, give him a break. But yeah, what a performance! great result, and it gives us a bit of momentum maybe to move into Tuesday and get something from that as well. Why not? We've got players that can come in. What more can come in? Who's fresh? He hardly played today, so we can mix it up a bit. And if we get some points from that, then that'd be amazing. From these two games, which we were kind of expecting going to be tough ones, if we can come away with like 4 or 6 points, then that'll be a superb result from those two games. So really pleased with that. Great day. Great result. Come on, you Lions.
Hello, this is Sister Avery here. Just got home after a long drive from the game. A few of my thoughts from the match today. I thought it was a really good high-tempo start for Millwall. Bradshaw's early challenge set the tone for the game. He should have finished 1-1, but redeemed himself after some nice link-ups. Millwall totally dominated the first half, I felt. Sheffield United showed little challenge for us, except for the free kick which they scored from. I think Long should have saved that really, but he definitely redeemed himself throughout the rest of the game. Second half, I felt they came on a bit flat, a big contrast to the first half. I think they played very defensively. They sat back too much. However, I thought we knuckled back down. The earlier enthusiasm from the first half came back. Bradshaw deserved his second goal. It was a good goal. When Sheffield United equalised, I did think it was going to end 2-2. I was a bit worried. They were dominating the second half, to be honest. But then Bradshaw's third goal, it was a good goal. It was well earned. And it did liven them up a bit, to be honest. I think we could have had a better ref. He was a bit card happy towards the end. But overall, I think it was a really good game. It was a brilliant atmosphere at the Den. I think it was a well-deserved win. I think the boys should be proud, and well done to Gary Rowett. Bye.
Hi Nick, John Rankin here, just calling in after the Sheffield game. What can you say about that? Absolutely fantastic. The first thing was the resilience, really, to go 1-0 up and then come back to go 2-1 up and then to win it 3-2. I mean, our heads didn't drop once. Absolutely brilliant performance. I think all the players played well. Cresswell had a great game. Vogelslammer had a brilliant game off the ball. Ian Fleming, Shackleton, and all the usual crowd. I mean, Cooper, Danny Mack, everyone had a good game as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely fantastic day at the Den. One of the best games of football I've seen for a long time. Brilliant. The crowd were buzzing. We were buzzing. What more can you say? I just hope that we can learn from this, in that we're a much better side when we go for it. One of the guys that we go to the game with said that he spoke to Adam Barrett before the game, and Barrett told him they were setting up to really have a go at them. And I think that's the way we should play all the time. No sense in this sitting back and soaking up pressure. Let's just go for it. My man of the match got to be Tom Bradshaw. We were all talking about giving him a rest and, his work rate, and he's all alone up there. But blimey, to pop in and get 3 goals like that, absolutely fantastic. So I'm onward and upward. One happy Millwall supporter here, or 2. Come on, you Lions.
Come on, you Lions.